This is Remix Report with your hosts, DJ JD and DJ J Spring.
Today's video brought to you by YourDJSkins.com. Pimp your gear today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Remix Report. I'm DJ JD.
I'm DJ J Spring, and this is another weekend recap. We don't have any guests this week, so it's just us. You guys gonna have to deal with that. We'll try to do better next time.
I think they'll make do. Definitely have some news coming up for you and a discussion section, of course. But first, let's start out how we normally do. How was your weekend?
I was at Scorpion Bar all weekend, and it's the same thing that we've talked about many times on the site before. Playing a residency where you're there all the time, and sometimes I do get a little bit frustrated. It's just like, what am I going to do that's going to be new today? And you're in the middle of the part of your set where you go from opening to prime time, and you play a song that you've played a million times, and you're like, what am I going to play after this song? Is it going to be the same song that I always play after this song? Or what can I possibly go in a different direction? And then you think maybe, all right, do you want to go down in BPMs now? Am I going to play the same transition where I always start at? Because usually when I transition down, unless I have some kind of plan, the first time I transition down is always like to 70, pretty much, where you start your down south set. If you ever are gonna play all the 2 Chainz songs, Paris, Pop that kind of stuff, then you're transitioning down to 70 at some point, unless you have like some plan that you know that you're gonna go there and then get right back up. That's the plan. You're gonna go to 70 and you're gonna kind of work your way up for a little bit. So it's like, I gotta find a new transition now. I don't want to play the same transition. DeVille's all I do is win transition. I should retire that, just like the Americano that we're going to talk about in a little bit.
I played that, the Snap Your Fingers discotheque transition. For me, it's like the Rocket Scientist shots transition to get back up to 128 from 85.
I've used that quite a bit too.
Oh my god!
I need to stop playing that. I play that after Dougie all the time. Do you ever play that after Dougie?
Never done that.
Okay. So
it all comes down to, do I really feel like thinking this hard and putting this much effort in right now tonight?
That, and it's like, it goes over so good. It's like proven, tried and true, as they say.
Do I really want to exercise the brain muscle and try and figure out a new way to do this tonight?
Well, I mean, you're making it sound like it's like on me to try to put in like minimal effort. It's like, I mean,
is it?
Well, we're talking about, if you're a DJ that plays all the hits with, let's call Scorpion Bar where you're not going to be playing too many obscure songs there, at least in terms of your pop top 40 set. It's pretty much straightforward as it gets. So it's like, what kind of options do you have to mix it up there? I know this is just what we do. We're recapping our weekends real quick. We got into a little discussion here, but maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later.
I mean, what do you do? I mean, I don't know. Try and find different versions of those songs, of course. And I know we all went.
I've done that, and then those versions get a little bit stale. So it's like, I don't know.
I know it's tough. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah.
Let's see. My weekend kind of had Friday off. Kind of not really, but I was at Shrine hanging out with Vinny Vibe. He was playing on Friday night and brought him in for his birthday. Continuing our Fuck It, It's Friday.
Fuck it.
Yeah. And that was awesome. I jumped on for just a couple minutes, just enough time so Vinny could get a cake smashed in his face.
He got Aoki'd, as they call it.
That went very well. Saturday night, I was up at Black Bear in Hartford and had some friends come out, and it was definitely a great time. Kind of similar, I guess, to Scorpion Bar in a way, like the music style, and also similar to Whiskey Republic in Providence, but definitely a good open format night. And let's see, Shrine, I was at Shrine on Sunday night. Just kind of not really a whole lot of people there on Sunday normally, but it was all good. That was my weekend.
I was going to ask you, when we're talking about switching up your residencies, Fridays at Shrine have always been like your baby. The same way that Scorpion, that's like my baby, the Friday nights. So lately we've been switching a little bit, and I know I'm definitely glad to get into Shrine, obviously. Do you feel like good, like you know what, I'm glad I get a week off to kind of come up with a new set to play, because that's how I look at it a little bit. With taking a Friday off from Scorpion Bar, I look at it and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be there for another 2 weeks. Some new music is going to come out, and I can come back a little bit fresher.
No, I think that is a good way to look at it, because in Scorpion Bar, because you are so close to the crowd, in relation to how it is at Shrine, there's like a good 6-7 feet between you and the crowd, really. So like the energy is different, and obviously music selection is a little different. So it is kind of nice. But it kind of refreshes your brain a little bit to play some different music.
I'm not even talking about though like the change of going somewhere else. I'm talking about just having a week off from the place that you're at all the time.
Because I have been at Shrine every Friday pretty much for the last year and a half, 2 years, something like that. So it's probably good to get out of there a little bit on Fridays.
The other question is how much
for a little while.
How much should how much should we concentrate on trying to please the workers and stay fresh for them? I mean, in essence, literally, it shouldn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But it definitely does matter, I feel.
I would like to say we shouldn't care about that at all. But in reality, like you said, I think reality is definitely different. I mean, the people we work with are the people that are going to promote us the most.
We want them to like us,
and
obviously.
Yeah, obviously, if we're doing well for them, they're going to hopefully do well for us and promote the club better and all that. So I think, I guess it is more important than I would like to admit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's when we talk about staying fresh. I mean, especially we're at the casino where there's a large volume of traffic that shifts from week to week. It's not the same recurring people for the most part. It's definitely not as much as I'd say certain bars and clubs where they probably have a lot more regulars than we do. At least if we do have regulars, we don't notice them as much because just there's always different people visiting the casino. People come from Boston, New York. They get hotel rooms, and they only do it like once every 3 months, maybe once a year. Some of these people, we get a lot of that crowd, as opposed to maybe some bars and clubs that have people who go there once every 2 or 3 weeks, or once a month. But they do that once a month for the whole year. I don't know how much of that we get. It seems like there's just you see different people there all the time. And I think that helps with staying fresh a little bit. I mean, so when we talk about trying to stay fresh, I think in essence it is mostly for the workers.
And, well, I mean, there are a lot of people. I do see a lot of regulars at Shrine. Obviously, I'm there a little more than you, and you're at Scorpion Bar, so you probably see more regulars over there.
It's not fair to say there's not regulars, but I think there's definitely a lot more people that are. You can only count on them. They're probably only going to be there once that year or once for 6 months.
Yeah, most people, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's something to think about. We'll talk about that more, I guess, later on in the discussion.
All right. Well, let's move on to some news.
We forgot to mention Four Color Zach winning the Red Bull World Championship.
That's huge. Dope set.
He did play a dope set. We heard it. We did the recap, I think, 2 weeks ago, and that was like while we were recording was when everyone was posting on Facebook his set. So we didn't get to mention it that week, and then last week we had on Mo Rada and Kova, and we forgot all about it. So apologies to Four Color Zach for not mentioning him earlier.
Absolutely.
But we did peep his set. Hopefully we'll have him on soon to talk about it. What? He
very creative.
It wasn't so much people think of creativity during your set. I think the thing they think about most is wordplay, maybe. But his wasn't as much about wordplay as it was about twisting the synths around and flipping them into other songs.
Basically using his cue points as like a sampler buttons, basically, and replaying the melody from one song into a different melody that matched to another song.
He did a dope one with Rattle. I forget what he flipped it into. I know he did one into the 80s. Is it 80s song? I Can't Wait, I think.
Yeah, he did that one into the 50 Cent song. What was the 50 Cent one?
I forget the 50 one. I know.
If I Can't Do It.
Did he do one to that? I know there was Born in the USA was, I think, the last one, and that kind of killed it, I think. I heard. The first time we ever mentioned Four Color Zach was, I think, his one party break that he did. And to see what he's gone on to do, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, congrats for sure. Great work. Big news from Ultra Music Festival this week. They're expanding Ultra Music Fest to 2 weekends. Instead of one big weekend, it's now 2 big weekends.
I texted one of my friends after. She was very excited.
So people are going to be out of work for
Well, that's what I said
longer.
to her. She was very excited. First of all, they made this a big, like it was almost like a press conference. They had the announcement. They were going to announce something. I think it was 12 o'clock today, Eastern time, where they scheduled the announcement, and she was very excited. So I texted her today when I found out the news. I'm like, "Are you going to be able to do this for 2 weekends?" And she just said, "No way." So I don't know how many people will be able to handle
the reasoning behind this change is mainly, they said, because a lot of people don't get a chance to go down one week. Either they have other things they have to do that week, but maybe they could have gone down the week before or the week after, so they feel like they're missing out on a big group of people that they can't get in 1 week.
So you feel like doubling the amount of money that they're going to make has nothing. That isn't the main reason that they're doing this.
Absolutely. I mean, they're trying to get more people, but that's the reason. Is that, I mean, so many only having it one weekend kind of.
I guess it's bad at a press conference if someone were to ask you why are you doing this, and they're like, well, pretty much we're going to double the amount of money we made. I think so. I understand why they answered it the way they did.
But yeah, I think this will definitely keep a lot of people in the club business out of work for an extra week, and it's going to cost twice as much for people to go down there and stay for an extra week, or
what about
an extra couple days, I guess. But
how's the hotel business going to do during this period?
It's just ridiculous, honestly. So I would imagine that WMC is going to be that week in between, which honestly I think this helps Winter Music Conference in the long run, because they can kind of have it right in the middle of these 2 weeks and really capitalize on all those people being there. But
we're trying to guess what the big announcement was going to be, because they hyped it up as they were going to do something that's never been done with an EDM festival before. So my first guess was they weren't going to allow anybody in if they were on any substance. But, I don't know how well that would work out. Her guess was that maybe they would pay for everybody's hotel room. But I think that's a little. I don't think they're that generous.
no,
if they really wanted to do something crazy, I said maybe they could unleash a bunch of lions into the crowd. That would have been pretty cool. I would have watched that.
Isn't this basically what Coachella did, though?
Did they?
Didn't Coachella do 2 weekends in a row? Wasn't that the big thing? Like Avicii, the second weekend, wanted to change his set. They had the exact same lineup 2 weeks in a row.
I wasn't aware. Well, this is 2 totally different lineups that they're going to have. One of my guesses was maybe they were going to do like a hologram, or have somebody DJ from outer space or something. I don't know. I like the lion idea. Can you imagine?
It'll be interesting to see what the difference is in the lineups for each weekend.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a tough decision for a lot of people to pick. But
yeah, hey. Swedish House Mafia's Steve Angelo talked to Huffington Post this week about the whole Swedish House Mafia breakup. Some interesting stuff there if you want to check that out. Talking about, kind of complains a little bit about how people think it's so easy to DJ, and we just walk up there with flash drives and that's all we have to do. And he goes on to say, but we're involved in everything, like the whole production, and even like selling tickets and promoting, and kind of some of that sounds like a little bit like a sob story to me. But
well, I mean,
there is obviously a lot more to it than just walking up with a flash drive.
People definitely don't understand the work that goes into this. But in terms of it being a hard job, I will say there's not much physical labor involved with DJing. So,
especially now you don't have to walk around and pass out flyers anymore.
You don't have to carry your crates of records anymore. So what little physical labor there was has been totally removed. So I mean, if you want to compare it with other jobs, which we've done at other times on this site, I mean, we are pretty fortunate, I'd say, all in all.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah. Enough said.
I don't want to give too much away and have everyone hear this, and then everyone will become a DJ. Not like everybody is right now.
All right. Let's move on to some discussion about Yolanda Be Cool's international recall.
This was a real press conference.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome, I gotta say. You can I saw this article on We All Hit Play, but you can also get it I think YolandaRecall.com, and I'm sure it's all over the place now online.
This really reminds me of what Avicii's people did with Levels. We talked about that how long ago? That was probably a couple months ago.
Yeah,
I think about that.
Yolanda Be Cool has definitely executed this much better.
They took it a step further, I think.
Yeah, so an international recall against people playing their hit song "No Speak Americano," saying they want everybody to just get rid of the song. If you have a copy of it, delete it, burn it. Don't play it if you're a DJ or music director. Just stop playing it. It's not fresh anymore.
No remixes, no nothing.
Just done. Don't ever. It's dead to them.
And
so I imagine that means they probably won't be playing it in their shows either.
And you know what? After seeing this, it makes me not want to play it anymore. Not that I've kind of looked at it a little bit different. I mean, I look at it the same way as Levels pretty much when I play it, and I'm like, as a DJ, our job, we talk about this. Our job is to play what people want to hear, and people still do want to hear that. But we also want to kind of be cool and be cutting edge, and sometimes it's got to make you feel weird as a DJ when you play Party Rock Anthem and Levels and this song. You're like, should I still be playing this? I don't want to. I want to stay fresh, and I know people still want it, but eventually songs do get, I don't know if negative might be a strong word, but songs do get a stigma attached to them, and I mean, people hear something too much, there's going to be people complaining when you play it. So
and I'd say those three songs are really the prime examples: Party Rock Anthem, Levels, and No Speak Americano. I think definitely fits in there. I mean, they're songs that now I can definitely go a night without playing any of them if I wanted to, and I have, but I definitely, I don't know, they're just like an easy filler track now. It's like I can play this and not worry about people. Like, there's going to be enough people that like it.
It's not going to clear the dance floor.
Yeah, definitely not going to clear the dance floor. And
I mean,
there are enough people that really do like it that why not play it?
I just don't want to turn people off. I mean, if you play too many of those songs, I think then you could turn people off. So maybe do you have to kind of make a choice between maybe playing 2 out of those 3 or 4 that we said?
Yeah,
I know "Sexy and I Know It" is kind of, you can
starting
kind of
to get there
that.
too. Yeah,
and even I try not to play DJ Khaled. All I do is when I try, but I always end up playing it. It's such an easy thing to
it's
play.
Like you have to. It's
it
like,
helps
how do you not play that?
You know what? It helps you get from 70. It gets you to 75, so then you can get back up to 80. It's like there's not too many tracks in the 75 range really as much, so it's a good stepping stone track.
I would say for hip hop songs that definitely is
that and
on the same level. But I mean, are people really? I don't really see the stigma around that like I do.
Well, it's
Levels.
here the stigma is that it was always such a cheap way to get everybody in the crowd to raise their hands, and it's like, all right, you have your videographer there shooting a video. You have someone shooting promo pics. It's like, all right, dude, I'm about to play. All I do is win. Make sure you get this. And everyone's hands go up, and then you take the picture. And it's like, there was that point where.
So that's how it's done.
Yeah, that's how it's done. I hope I didn't.
I thought they had their hands up all night in that video.
That's what we want you to think.
You fooled me. You fooled
me
once.
It's like, there was a point when you started playing that, and not everybody's hands were up anymore, and they didn't stay there as long. And it's like,
yeah, it's definitely getting there. Yeah.
And it's like now it's like there's still some nights where I play it and all the hands go up, and there's other nights where no hands go up, and it just kind of, I don't know.
I don't think there's been nights where no one's hands gone up.
I've seen very few hands at certain points.
Definitely less hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less hands go up and less hands stay there. Is the problem right now.
So how can we get another song? What's the next song to do that right now?
I can tell you that 1,000 people have tried to make hands go up songs, not as successfully.
With My Hands Up, Lil Jon, that one.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of them.
Like some trap remixes of that can.
I mean, I've seen other people start doing the reggae sample thing after the success of Mercy. People always do that, try to leech on to what's ever popular at the moment. Sometimes it works, but usually doesn't.
Yeah.
So, but I guess we kind of got off. We were talking about the Americano thing. I think we wanted to talk a little bit about the same thing we talked about with Avicii and Levels. Can a song get too popular, and does it ruin it for the artist? I guess we haven't really discussed it from that point of view as much.
Well, obviously, I think they see that stigma, that pop stigma. I mean, these are obviously like serious house producer DJs that want to have a serious house name, and the song has gotten so big, licensed for crazy amounts of probably commercials, things like that. Pitbull did it. They showed a bunch of these YouTube videos that are like super jokey of people dancing and cats dancing to it, and I think they're definitely seeing that reflect on them. I mean, people probably aren't taking their newer music as seriously.
I mean, I wonder, this is kind of a slightly different topic, but somewhat along the same lines. I wonder how Lil Jon felt with Dave Chappelle kind of using all his catchphrases, because what do you think Lil Jon would have said if you went up to him however many years ago it was? It's kind of a long time ago now.
10 years probably almost.
Yeah, about 8 or 9 years maybe. If you went up to him and you said, hey, how does it sound? What if the biggest comedian of the time, which at that time Dave Chappelle pretty much was the biggest comedian, he had his own show that was very successful. How would you feel if he did a skit with your catchphrases and pretended to be you, and it was going to make it so everyone knew your phrases and stuff, and your name was really going to get out there? He'd say, obviously, yeah, definitely. I mean, they say no publicity is bad publicity, and this wasn't even bad publicity. I mean, this wasn't like anything negative or anything. But I don't know if he maybe understood how something could get taken too far. Like, I wonder what Lil Jon says when someone comes up to him and says, I loved you on the Dave Chappelle show, and then they say yeah or whatever or what. I mean, how many times do you think Lil Jon has gotten that in his life?
You don't really hear him saying those too much anymore, do you?
He still does a little bit on his Twitter and Facebook every so often, but I mean, I'm sure he got tired of people saying that to him. I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but I can only imagine if someone was doing that to me all the time. So it's like, you think something sounds like a good idea. Like if you would ask Avicii, hey, how would you like to have the #1 song of the year to the point where it's just played everywhere, and then people finally start saying, oh, they start joking about it, like, oh, I've never heard that song before, because it's so played out is what it is. I mean, you can argue played out versus overplayed. Maybe I didn't mean to say the word played out, but I mean, what maybe Avicii, if he had to rethink it, maybe he would have rather had the #4 song. I mean, I doubt it. I'm sure he'd probably still say he'd want Levels to be as popular as it is. But do you think he has second thoughts about it?
Probably. I mean, I'm sure that's definitely been on his mind. I'm sure he came to the same conclusion you did, that he probably wouldn't rather have the #4 song. But yeah. I think the biggest issue with any musician is people taking you seriously afterwards. And
I mean, do you think subconsciously it weighs in on the way people view Americano after seeing cats and dogs dancing to it? Does that subconsciously factor into people's view of it?
I don't think that as much, but I think it factors into the future success of Yolanda Be Cool, because people are stuck on No Speak Americano. They don't even, like, that is Yolanda Be Cool's identity, and they don't want it to be their identity anymore. They want to release new music and have that new music be their identity, and they probably feel like they can't do that right now because people don't take that seriously.
I mean, is this turning into like a kind of Sir Mix-a-Lot kind of thing? I mean, yeah. Sir Mix-a-Lot, obviously, I mean, I don't want to say I wasn't around at the time. I was, probably 7 or 8 maybe when that song came out. But I didn't have the understanding I do now of music back then, obviously. So I wonder, he obviously never had another big hit besides that. And I wonder if it's because the other songs he was coming out with weren't as good, or... I mean, that song may have just been a hit because of kind of the novelty of the song, a song about big butts. But, I mean, if Yolanda Be Cool is still producing kind of the same type of stuff, and if they can be... That was kind of a creative song, I would say. If they can kind of flip other stuff like that, I mean, I would think they could have other hits. I don't know how much this one song is going to weigh against them in terms of trying to come up with another hit.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's the curse of the one-hit wonder. You know, how do you top that first big hit? And that's why so many people can't do it.
I take issue sometimes with the label one hit wonder, at least who gets that label, because I've watched some stuff on VH1, like they have their 100 one hit wonders or whatever, and I see people on there, I'm like, oh, I like that other song they came out with. I thought it was kind of a hit.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that when you were watching those lists?
I think they definitely give that label wrongly to some people.
You can never call Avicii a one hit wonder. I mean, I think it would be unfair just because one song was like 5 times more popular than anything else he's come out with, maybe 10 times more popular. That song was just more popular than anything anyone else has come out with, so it's unfair to judge Avicii's other songs.
Yeah, I mean, My Feelings for You was really big, and
Seek Bromance, and Fade in Darkness even. Fade in Darkness, Silhouettes gets play. I mean, I think it's unfair to call him a one-hit wonder. I hope no one does. I mean, I think it's probably...
Yolanda Be Cool, on the other hand?
No, you're right with them, but I think it's... People want to start doing it right now. It's too early to call someone a one-hit wonder when their big hit still hasn't even really gone down yet. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like people want to call them a one-hit wonder. And I think maybe they're afraid of it, and that's why they might have come out with a video that... I mean, because they'll never have a chance to come out with another hit if everyone's still playing that one song and doesn't want to play anything else.
Exactly. When I think this whole video that they did is just brilliant for trying to hit this whole issue head on and like just stare at their demons in their face and be like, hey, we know this is what it is, and we're going to do whatever we can to change that. So,
and, I guess maybe Avicii would have second thoughts about levels. I mean, because it looks like what we saw from Avicii's management and what we saw with Yolanda Be Cool here is pretty much everything that we wouldn't think an artist would do, which is tell you, all right, don't play my song anymore. I don't want it to get any bigger. I think it's gotten big enough already. I don't want it getting any bigger. In fact, I don't even want to hear it anymore.
Maybe this all comes down to this whole seriousness that we've been talking about lately. Like, people obviously they take their careers seriously, and I don't blame them for that. But they've made plenty of money.
Do you think we'll ever get to a point with Remix Report where we're like, all right, enough. Stop telling your friends about our site. We don't want any more visitors. In fact, we don't even want you going back to our site anymore and watching our old videos.
I mean, we're pretty close to that right now.
Yeah, we are very close to that. I should say that everything I said wasn't true. Tell all your friends. Keep coming to the site. Don't stop.
Just hit refresh like 5 times a day. That'd be great.
Please. And then post something about it on Facebook and promote that status, please.
Yeah, and tag all your friends.
Yes.
Because we know that people love to be tagged in other people's Facebook posts.
I guess that's something else that we could talk about today. That was a very good segue. I didn't mean to even mention it because that kind of takes away from how good it was.
You're not supposed to mention the segue.
But it was so good. We had to mention that was just a great segue into our next topic, which was Facebook spam. And
that was a good one.
Yes. Don't pat me. That was your segue.
Yeah, you led me right into it. It was teamwork.
You're welcome.
We've been doing this for a while now, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, Facebook spam. First, we want to again say that I believe that what they're doing with making people pay to promote statuses and only letting 20% of your fans see your posts, I think it's a brilliant idea.
There's kind of a little change of heart from before, isn't it?
No, not at all. Even last week I said it was a brilliant. I've always been a big fan of this. I think, as I said to you beforehand, I think this pretty much eliminates 4/5 of spam if only 20% of people see it. So, for every status that you put out there that someone who has the same amount of fans as you do puts out there, it's like it takes 4 extra people doing that to have the impact that one of your statuses would have had before, if you could follow what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So it's removing a lot of excess, I think. It sucks that you've earned those fans for all the people who actually took the time gaining your fans one by one and doing mixtapes and passing out CDs at clubs and flyers and stuff, trying to earn your fans. It kind of sucks that you don't get to talk to them all when you want to.
You're really talking for every 5 fans you actually gain one
Yeah.
that actually sees your stuff.
So it's like, but there is a bright side. The bright side is that not everyone's going to be as annoyed. Whether they're annoyed by other people's statuses. I mean, think about this. If you're the last person to promote on a Friday or Saturday to your club, you think anyone's going to give a fuck after they've already seen 10 other people promote that night? It's like, well, you're just doing another club, just like the other 10 people I saw before you. But now, if they do get to see your status, they've only seen 2 before that, so they might care about yours a little bit more. I just think it's a good idea because everyone bitched about MySpace at the end, and everyone kind of understood that people got carried away on there. And it's kind of frustrating for me to see people on Facebook get carried away in the same way that they got carried away on MySpace.
You do see it, and I mean, people are talking about it, but it's definitely not to the extent.
It's like, fuck, it's like everybody on, so annoying on MySpace. I had to get rid of that shit. It was just so annoying. But come see me at the club tonight. I'm going to be here. And then when I get out, I'm going to make another post saying how great it was and thank you for coming, even if you didn't come. So it kind of, those people kind of annoy me. I don't know what to say.
I said thank you for everybody that came out to Black Bear on Saturday afterwards.
Did you?
I did.
Should I smack you now or after?
I don't necessarily see. Obviously, if you do that every single night of the week, if you DJ 5 nights a week and you do that 5 days a week, it's a little annoying, especially if you're at the same place over and over again. Obviously, I don't do that every time I'm at Shrine or anything like that, or even every week. But if you're going to a new spot that you don't go to a lot, maybe you go once a month, every 2 months, whatever, I think it's a good way to show goodwill and
you know what, it is a polite
after the fact.
It's a polite thing to do, especially like you said, if you're doing a new spot and you want to thank the person who booked you and everything. But just the reality of it is that you're making another post about being at the club when the first post that you made might have been a little too much. Not from your point of view for making the post, but in terms of the people who aren't DJs, who view Facebook, who have to deal with 20 of these things. And it's like, this is all too much for me. And it's like, now we're dealing with everyone afterwards making a post. It's like, I know it's the right thing to do. If you want to thank everyone, it's very courteous, but it's like, what does it lead to though? Is it too much for the people who are on Facebook for leisure?
They can stop liking your page,
but you don't want them to do that. And
no, but I mean,
I'm saying what you're doing isn't too much, but it's in combination with everyone else. It can kind of become too much. But
obviously, you don't want people to not like your page. But when I had an intern earlier this summer, she was obviously posting a lot more on my Facebook page and keeping things updated, like posting events a lot more than I do myself. And I did see at some points like drops in the number of people that were liking my page, probably because they were getting sick and tired of that stuff. But at the same time, I would see decent sized jumps from just more interactivity on Facebook. So I think from a Facebook fan page standpoint, I think the benefits of posting regularly, obviously not over posting, or that is an issue, but I think posting regularly and keeping your fans updated, the overall curve is upward curve. But
well, I mean, it's hard for me to say because I'm not a normal human. I'm a DJ, and when I go on Facebook, I'm friends with a million DJs, and I've liked a million DJs fan pages. So I don't know what normal people go through when they go on Facebook because all I see is promotion. That's all I see.
And it's definitely not the same thing because we hear time and time again about friends of ours that send us event invites to their birthday party that we don't respond to, and they get really upset about us ignoring their invitation when we wouldn't even think about looking at our invites page ever.
They don't know what we go through. They really don't.
See, it's not easy to be a DJ. No,
I was telling Sean from Shrine about because he's an up and coming rapper, and I was telling him about how MySpace, the first time someone hit me up asking for me to listen to their song, saying they were up and coming rapper, I was like, you know what? Let me give this guy a listen. Maybe he's good. Maybe I can I can link up with this guy from Chicago. Wherever
This guy might make me famous
Well,
somehow.
maybe I'll put him on my mixtapes. We'll network. It's always good to network. Then about 2 years later, when my inbox every hour I'm getting another message from a rapper who says the same thing. They always say, "Hey, I know you get this all the time, and I don't want to bother you, but just when you get a chance, if you could please listen to my song. I know you get this all the time, but I'm a little bit different, and I know you'll like this, and I'm down to network, down for whatever you want." It's like they were really diligent and nice and professional, but I get so many of those, it's not fair for me to listen to anyone, let alone I'm annoyed by the 1,000 that I get. So
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully this 20% thing we're talking about on Facebook will keep all this
And I think
from happening.
the limit of 5,000 friends is also a very good thing. I saw someone on my Facebook yesterday ask why the limit is 5,000.
And you do see people complain about that all the time, but yeah.
I mean, really, if anyone's adding over 5,000, and I'm not talking about celebrities, normal people just do not have 5,000 friends.
no.
So if you are adding over 5,000, there is some kind of intent, kind of against what Facebook was intended for. It's definitely has something to do with advertising or trying to sell people something, or there's definitely a reason why you feel the need to add all those. So Facebook is onto you, just like Twitter is. They're onto you. And they've set limits, and I think they're pretty smart about doing it.
That's what a fan page is for. That's exactly what it's for. So you can have more than 5,000 people that like you.
But you were right, though. I'm
And
surprised
they
that
go to your page to like your page because they want to be informed.
Well,
about it.
that's the beautiful thing about Facebook is with the fan pages is they have to make that effort, which means they're somewhat interested in becoming your fan. Not like where MySpace, where you could just create unlimited pages and then just keep adding people over and over again. That's why I think Facebook numbers before the advertisements, Facebook numbers were more kind of trustworthy to see how popular a certain person was. But I think things are changing. There's other ways now to build up your numbers, which fake it till you make it. We've discussed that before. But I think Facebook is kind of trying to stay one step ahead, kind of, just like they started capping, or not capping, but you have to promote your own personal posts. Now, you read about that last week. I don't make too many personal posts, but I just made one last week, and it asked me if I wanted to promote it. And, I mean, I don't know what their thinking was behind that, but maybe they saw that some of these people who had fan pages started saying, all right, you're going to stop my fan page promotion. Maybe now I'll start spamming people from my personal page. And I guess they had to do what they had to do.
Yeah, they're definitely smart about it. They want to use those promotions for like big life events and stuff. I just posted post about my engagement photos that just came out last week, and because Facebook saw probably engagement in the subject, it highlighted the promote thing and was like, yeah, do you want to promote this?
Did you promote it?
I didn't. No.
You know what? I don't even think it's normally the first thing I think of with something like this is they want money. It's all about the money. But I don't even know necessarily if this is all about the money. I think part of it is about the money, yes, but
A good amount of it.
no, I mean, I think they thought it through pretty well, and I think
Well, they're thinking about ways to make money.
thinking
and
about
this
ways
was
to
a
make
great way
money,
to do it.
but I mean, I think they know what happened. If they're smart at all, they know why they were able to overtake MySpace, and I would think that they would kind of be weary of the same problems happening to them.
No, I think they're very conscious of that. Yeah.
What did I hear about MySpace making a comeback with Justin Timberlake? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, they relaunched, and I think he is an investor in it at this point. I really haven't kept too up to date on it, but I think it's more geared towards music and bands and things like that.
Okay.
And I think they might have relaunched again recently, though, which, if they did, I really have no idea.
I haven't even
what the
checked it
difference
out.
is.
MySpace is the equivalent of Levels, Party Rock Anthem, and Speak Americano all wrapped in one, kind of.
Yeah, if those were all one song,
That would be MySpace.
that would be MySpace. Yeah.
Too bad.
So a question I was asking you earlier, and maybe some of you guys can help out, because we randomly get people, I'm sure you do too, come up to you in the club and ask you for a song that maybe you've never heard of, and you're just like, and they, as normal people, look at us as a DJ and are like, "What? You don't know that song? How do you not know that song?" And I'm like,
you want to reverse the question,
like,
ask them
how the hell do you know that song? Is what I want to know. So my question to you is, where do normal people get their music?
Well, in today's day and age, anyone with an iPhone who has Shazam, anytime they hear something they like, whether it's a commercial, I mean, there's many places where you could randomly hear an obscure song. So if they actually like it, just stick your phone out and find out who it is. I think I'm sure YouTube videos, they always have the suggestions on the other side of the page that maybe people skip and find some other songs. I mean,
so how do I, as a DJ, go about, I don't know, getting the same kind of exposure to new music that regular people get? Like, because I'm not going to sit there on YouTube all day and go searching through. I mean, obviously, but
I mean, some people surprisingly are as into music as we are, even though they're not DJs. And I know quite a few people who are very into music that aren't DJs. And I mean, they often ask where we get our music from, because they're excited to find a new place to find new stuff from. So, I mean, you got to understand, when we look at blogs and we look at music, our record pools, we kind of have our blinders on a little bit sometimes, thinking about what we can use to play in the club, and that might lead us to kind of ignoring other stuff sometimes. Especially when we're strictly on the hunt for club remixes and stuff like that. So I mean, if you were ever to tell somebody about DJ City, that's a great site for new music, they're not going to go on there and see the hot new song first and then click on it and see, it lists all the other remixes. We could easily get caught up trying to find the best remix of that song. They might go on DJ City. They're going to look through all the artists they don't know. They might get excited by all the artists they don't know. What do you do on DJ City when you see artists you don't know? Kind of just scroll down a little bit. Oh, a Levels remix.
Yeah.
How did I not know that Cassette did a Levels remix? What's this?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we might ignore some of those newer artists. And I know, you know what, that's not really what DJ City was intended for. That's not what record pools are intended for. Record pools are intended for you to give everything a chance.
Help break new artists.
Help break new music. Yeah. That's not always what we do. I mean, I do get excited when I find something new, but I'm not necessarily always in the mood or always looking for that something new. So I think you have to understand that part too, that non-DJs, they might be more open to newer stuff.
It's true. I would like to figure out a way to...
I can give you a way to find new music. Why don't you just check your MySpace emails? I'm sure there's plenty of new stuff for you to listen to.
Yeah. I think a lot of you know what I'm talking about, though, and I know you do too. It's just like, how do we as DJs get out of that mindset that does cloud our judgment and put our blinders on? And I don't know.
I guess one other thing I wanted to ask right now is, it doesn't seem, we talked about the most popular songs from the last year or so. Doesn't seem like there's one of those out right now. Is there one of those out right now?
No, I mean, we were just looking at the Billboard Top 10 just before we got on to kind of see what was in the top of the charts, and everything to me just seems super poppy. Like,
it is, yeah.
Not, like I was saying, it's like almost like NSYNC style pop, like that kind of pop, like super girly pop, which I'm not saying that's bad or anything, whatever. Some of those songs are very catchy, but as far as like the club goes,
what's a song right now that you drop that's at its prime where everyone just goes crazy?
Birthday Song goes over very well.
Goes over
Pop That
pretty good. But how about top 40? Is there anything top 40 that? 2 Chainz does seem to be the new Lil Wayne, though. As popular as Lil Wayne was, how long ago? Like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
2 Chainz seems to have that hype about him. I don't know if it's quite as much as Lil Wayne was, or as much as 50 Cent was back when he first came out or came on the scene. But 2 Chainz is like all the rage right now. At the college spot, 2 Chainz is what they want.
Yep. I mean, Where Have You Been, Rihanna. I mean,
Where Have You Been,
but,
Pound the Alarm were probably the two biggest. Those are the biggest.
But they're not even like.
They're not. They didn't get to the next level.
No.
Like, I mean, there are songs that come out like "Hey Baby" by Pitbull, always got a decent reaction, but it never really got to the next level. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really like a next level song out right now.
What is the Next Levels?
The Next Levels.
See
That was
what I did
the
there?
name of
See what I
Fat
did?
Rats remix. Did you know that?
I
Next
didn't.
Levels. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think.
So we want to know what you guys think. What's your biggest song right now besides "Pop That" and any 2 Chainz? What's like the biggest top 40 song / dance? I know the Swedish House Mafia song is probably the biggest house song out right now. I know. I guess in a recurring way, maybe Spectrum, or is there anything else that's up there with those two?
That pretty much does it right now, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, songs like Rattle, I think those are kind of past their... they still get good reactions, but I want to know what's like the freshest song that gets like a good reaction for you.
Yeah, it just seems like now is a time of limbo for
Or maybe
music,
it's
it
because the summer's over. Everyone releases their stuff for the summer, so maybe we're going to have to wait another month or two for Christmas.
seems. This is a dead period?
This might be.
Maybe. Yeah, also let us know where normal people get their music from. I would love to hear it. All right, let us know right down there in the comments.
Or you can email us, remixreport@gmail.com.
Remixreport.com.